When I was 8 years old, I came to know Christ at a camp. My dad actually sat with me on my bed that night, and I accepted Christ into my heart. And then like the following summer, I was baptized. So growing up as like a pastor's kid was like really difficult. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church in Arizona, and I came from like a pretty big family, like 3 other siblings, and the church like wasn't huge. And I always was just kind of raised with this idea. It's like, this is my father's ministry, and because of that, like, and we are his family, like that is a ministry as well in the church. And so because of that, anytime the doors are opened, I would be there. Anytime like there's an event, you would be there. Why? Because you're Mucklow and we're all there together, because like that's what the church does. And so growing up, it was really difficult because I started to view church as it was no longer me worshiping God and like me coming before God and like giving him everything and like glorifying him, but it turned into almost like trying to glorify my family and like it turned into a performance more than worship. It went from being like something that's supposed to be like worshiping God to like just a performance for people. And like that was so wrong. Like it was so hard because it turned into our family might not be getting along, but we all had to put on our smiles because that was the Christian thing to do, because it's Sunday and we have to be perfect in front of everybody. I don't fault my parents. I don't think they ever like taught me that. Like I think those are definitely like some of the things that I just like kind of came to on my own. It was definitely this misconception I had that we had to be perfect before the church, and so I began to like resent the church because it was no longer a community of people I was doing for. It was an audience that I was supposed to put a show on for. Whether I was in the kids choir, whether I was in the orchestra, whether I was on the sound booth, whether I was on like the youth leadership, whatever it was, like it was no longer to like glorify God, but it was to be like a perfect person for other people. It was more of just being on the stage for the sake of being on the stage because that's what I'm supposed to do. I think I was a believer, but I was not like actively being like a disciple of Jesus. Around junior high, I got involved with like the wrong group of kids, and I just started doing like a lot of bad things that like I really like should not have been involved with, and like those things like reigned over me for like years and years and years. And it wasn't until like my sophomore year of high school when I really had like some good relations with my youth pastor and some other mentors in my life that I realized church is no longer a performance, but it's simply just like a praise and adoration like to God. And so when I think I started to realize that, all the ministries like I was involved with, like my mindset and my outlook totally changed. I realized honestly what a blessing it was to be a pastor's kid. Like there were so many incredible things that came out of that I was so blind to for so long growing up. And I know that so many of those people at my church pray for me every single day, and they honestly love me with my whole heart. And every time I get to go back home, they're always loving on me and hugging me and asking me how I'm doing. I think when I realized that, so many things started to change. I started to realize, oh my gosh, like God is so awesome and like he deserves everything. Hey, my name is Caleb. I've been a pastor's kid my whole life. I resented the church for almost 17 years, but because of what Christ did for me, I've been set free.